Hi folks, Sandy here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick video for you today about Suburi. It's a question that I get asked an awful lot, so I thought I'd cover it in a new episode of the Kendo Show, and it's all about how to do Suburi at home. So there's a few ways you can practice Suburi at home. We'll go through a few options and a few ways you can practice, and hopefully you'll be able to get some practice done whilst you're not at the dojo. Before we get stuck in though, I have got to plug KendoStar.com. KendoStar.com is the equipment website that I operate. Basically it's top quality gear, provided at fantastic service, and it's shipped all around the world free of charge. Okay, you've got gear that's specifically designed with the international community in mind. It's a fantastic website, it's super popular, and it's understandable as to why, so get over to KendoStar.com next time you're shopping for something for Kendo. Okay, so to get started, obviously this is all about doing Suburi at home. Now, I'm not at home technically, I'm at the KendoStar office, which is actually somewhere where I probably spend more time than I do at home. It certainly feels like it anyway, but you get the idea. It's not a dojo, okay? It's just a regular place. Okay, now we're quite lucky here. We've got very high ceilings, so I'm actually all right to practice here with the Shinai without really worrying about hitting the ceilings. So we'll look at that situation first, and then we'll move on a little bit later about what we can do if we're not in such a lucky situation. So as you can see, I'm just wearing a normal sort of sports t-shirt, something that you might wear to the gym or what have you. You don't need to be wearing your Kendogi and Hakama. You can if it makes you feel better, but it's not really going to affect your home Suburi. Okay, so I'll start off with a Shinai. Okay, this is my KendoStar all-purpose Shinai, and first thing I'm going to practice is really from the basics. I'm going to start this from the basics. I'm going to make sure that my feet are in a good kamae position, and I'm going to make sure that I can make a good kamae that I'm happy with, a good chudan no kamae. That's going to be my first part of practicing Suburi at home. Okay, is practicing the good kamae. Is the height of my sword. Okay, it's not too high, it's not too low. Am I holding the Shinai nice and lightly, not over gripping it too much with my left hand or too much with my right hand? Just the right amount, particularly with the fingers here. Is my weight nicely balanced? Have I got good posture? Okay, now from here I can think about practicing Suburi. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm going to practice. I'm going to spend a few minutes just practicing kamae. Now this is even better if you've got a mirror at home, a full length mirror. If you've got a mirror that you can use, then that's even better. Okay, now this isn't a full length shot, I'm afraid. I don't quite have the room here to shoot full length, but I am wearing trainers, just normal trainers like that. I am wearing them because it's a carpeted floor in this office. So if it was a hardwood floor, then maybe I'd be able to do it barefoot, similar to how I would at the dojo. But that's not really an option in here. So I'm going to be doing this with my shoes on. Okay, so I'm going to carry on practicing my kamae, and from here the first thing I'm going to do, because space is quite tight, I haven't got much space in front or behind me, so the first thing I'm going to think about is just practicing actually swinging the Shinai. Okay, just swinging the Shinai correctly, and I'm going to swing it up, but be careful not to hit the ceiling. Yeah, I've checked that I have got enough space to swing without hitting the ceiling, so from my kamae I'm going to practice swinging the Shinai like this, in a men strike, okay? So my men strike, I like to bring the Shinai down to about the level of an opponent who's about the same height as me, about the level of their chin, okay? So some teachers might say to the eyes or to the ears, but I like to say to the chin, okay? So follow what your sensei says, but this is what I say, okay? This is what I think is the best way to practice. Okay, and I'm focusing on swinging the Shinai with my left hand. I can even practice with just my left hand. This is a good method of practice to practice at home as well. Katate Suburi, okay, swinging with just one hand. Okay, like this. Now I don't play Kendo from Jordan. I don't practice Kendo from Jordan. Okay, so I don't need to practice the Jordan type men so much because that isn't what I do. But if I was that sort of player, then I would be practicing more of a longer extension with my arm, because this is how I would cut from Jordan. But because I'm cutting from Chudan with two hands, I'm concentrating on that as I do my one-handed Suburi. And if I bring my right hand back, same again and again, making sure that I've not got too much power in my hands. I don't want to let my hands open, but I want to make sure that I'm swinging the Shinai mainly with the fingers just here, and bringing them all in for that snap at the end. Here. Like this. Okay? So at the moment, I'm not even doing any footwork. So my goal for this kind of Suburi is to make sure that I'm swinging the Shinai straight. Again, if you've got a mirror, that's great. Making sure I'm swinging the Shinai straight, and I have that snap at the end. Okay? Now, of course, lots of teachers teach lots of different ways, lots of different things. Many people, obviously, I've seen comments on other videos that I've done in the past about that I swing the Shinai too flat or even too far back, yeah? Because ideally, yeah, probably many teachers would say you should keep the Shinai at 45 degrees, like this. This is okay too. Okay, I wouldn't say either way is right or wrong personally. Ideally, it's best not to let the Shinai drop back here. But for me, the important part is having flexible wrists and a good snap at the end of your cut. Okay? Like this. And I'm making sure that I'm still in kamae with my feet the whole time. Okay? Men. 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 Using this same method, I can practice other types of waza as well. I don't have to only practice men. I can practice left and right men, like we would do if we were doing kirikaishi. I can practice do. I, of course, can practice kote, men, do, like this. Left and right men. I can practice lots of different ways. Okay, so if I'm practicing diagonal strikes, left and right men, like this, I have to be careful. See, I've got too close to the wall here. Have to be careful not to let the left hand move out of the middle of my body, okay? So I'm not doing this or like this, okay? Now, I'm practicing at home now, so I'm doing all of this in my own time, so I can take it nice and slowly. I don't have to keep up with the rest of the class, okay? So take it nice and slowly, make sure that you're getting everything correct, okay? I keep hitting that wall behind me, okay? So you have to be careful of that sort of thing as well. Okay, so how about adding some footwork? Okay, that's certainly something we can do. As I said, I've got my trainers on, and or sneakers, as you might say in other parts of the world, and it's a carpeted floor here, okay? So I don't have a great ability to slide, but that's not necessarily a super problem, because if I'm doing correct suriashi, I can still sort of glide a little bit over the carpet, okay? Being careful not to get stuck, okay? It's not ideal, but the important thing is that I'm not lifting my feet up as if I was just stepping, okay? So I practice that with footwork, much in the same way. Like this, okay? Considering the principles of Kikendai no Ichi, okay? So for me, that's making sure that my sword and my body is coming together as one. Okay, so in this kind of Suburi, I try and have the strike impact at the same time as my left foot draws up. Again, we're practicing at home now, so we can do this nice and slowly, yeah? In our own time. Do it as slow as we can to make sure that we get the right movement. Okay, so we get everything perfect. Okay, so we can do that with footwork, we can do it without footwork. The important thing is if we're doing without footwork, is making sure we're swinging the Shinai in a straight line. We're swinging it using the right amount of power from our left hand and not too much from our right hand. And we're having good tenuchi. Snap, snap, snap. Okay? I'm not just swinging the Shinai as if I'm not striking, okay? I'm imagining there's a target there for me to strike, okay? Mem, 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 mem. This way, okay? So that's all very well and good, right? If you're in a nice, large ceilinged building like I'm in, okay? This office right here, we've got very high ceilings, okay? I can swing the Shinai nice and high and I'm not gonna hit the ceiling, okay? What if you don't? What if you're in an apartment? My house where I actually live, that has quite low ceilings. I couldn't do Suburi like this. So what am I gonna do? Well, the first thing I do is I go back to practicing the Suburi without the footwork, okay? So I practice the footwork, the Suburi without the footwork, but instead of doing it from standard kamae, standing up like this, I'd get myself a chair, maybe on the sofa, and I'd sit myself down, okay? You could sit yourself on the floor if you feel comfortable doing that. But like I say, you can sit yourself down and still, even from a seated position, practice your striking. Like this, okay? So what do you do about your footwork though? What if you want to practice your footwork? Well, unfortunately, if you've got a low ceiling, well, there's a few ways you can get around it. There's different kinds of Suburi tools that you've got, which we'll talk about in a minute. Actually, I'll introduce one of those. But you can practice the footwork from kamae, like this, without swinging the Shinai, and practice them separately. But if you do this, you must concentrate, okay? You must concentrate. 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 Imagine that you're striking even though you're not. One thing you could even do is without a Shinai at all, you could practice like this. Like this. Okay? So imagine that you're holding a Shinai. Mem. 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 This way, okay? Because the important point here is that we're getting the timing right, that it's all coming together as one. Here, 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 like this, okay? So if your ceiling's too short, too small, and you can't swing the Shinai whilst you're doing it, sit yourself down in a chair, swing the Shinai whilst sat down, practice the footwork stood up, either in kamae or without swinging the Shinai, or pop the Shinai down and use an imaginary Shinai. Mem. Mem. This way, okay? That's also something that you can certainly do. Okay, so a couple of mistakes I'd like you to look out for and avoid is using the right hand too much, okay? Really common mistake. Like this, okay? Swinging the Shinai like this. I'm not properly hitting, I've got too much power here, I'm not fully reaching, okay? Instead, I want to make sure that I'm pushing and pulling with my left hand. Mem, 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 this way, okay? So a good way to deal with that, again, one-handed Suburi, okay? Definitely worth practicing a lot of, okay? So from your kamae, you take your right hand away, swing the Shinai, as if you're hitting men, but just with your left hand, okay? Just like this, okay? Be careful, you must swing the Shinai. I'm obviously gonna hit the wall behind me now, but you must swing the Shinai in a straight line, okay? As straight as possible, okay? Again, I hit the wall. This way, and not this way. over your shoulder, like this, okay? So that when you put both hands on, you're swinging properly. Another common mistake is to use your elbows too much, okay? So something that looks like this, yeah? Like this, yeah? Where we bring the shinai down like this and then push it forward. This is not a good way to do Suburi, okay? This will give you pain in your elbows and it won't allow you to practice correct tenuichi, okay? Instead, we raise the shinai straight up and then straight down with the left hand, okay? From here, straight up and down this way, okay? Down this way. I'm looking to cut into his head, okay? Not push it forward into his face, but cut through the top of his head, through his face, okay? To get a bit gruesome, okay? So, not like this, but instead, straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down, okay? Down, this way, okay? As we're swinging the shinai up, another mistake to avoid is to let the elbow stick out, okay? Don't let your elbow stick out like this. Again, I'm gonna hit the wall behind me, okay? Like this. Try and hide your armpits, okay? It's a good way to remember, okay? This way. Men. Men, okay? Keep hitting this wall. Okay? This way. Men. Okay? Not like this. Okay? Because this is a bad way to hit in Kendo in general. Okay, obviously the thing about Suburi is there's loads of different ways of doing it. There's loads of different teachings. Different teachers all have different opinions on it. Okay, so this is how I think is the correct way to do it. It's how I've been taught to do it. If your teacher says something different, then go with what they say. Okay, so as I already noted before, lots of teachers like to make sure that you don't let the shinai drop below 45 degrees from here, which again I don't think is wrong. But as I've seen commented on a lot of my videos, I tend to swing it a little bit further back than that because I'm all about having flexibility in the wrists and a good snap at the end, okay? That's what I'm focusing on, okay? But if your teacher says you must keep it this way, then please make sure you do that too. So what about Suburi with things other than with a shinai, okay? Well, we've got a Suburi bokuto here, okay, or a Suburi to. This is basically a bokuto or a bokken that's made specifically for Suburi, okay? It's a little bit longer than a standard bokken and it's obviously a lot thicker and it's a lot heavier as well, okay? Now this is a great tool for training up your muscles and particularly the muscles that you need in Kendo, okay, for swinging the shinai. We use this in exactly the same way that we would a shinai, okay? When we do Suburi with a shinai. Try and swing it in exactly the same way. Okay? But this one makes you tired much quicker, okay? If you're gonna practice things like katate Suburi with this, you must be very careful, okay? Because this is very heavy, it's gonna give you pains in your wrist, okay? So I'd recommend probably avoid doing that, particularly at lower levels, and probably stick to just doing two-handed Suburi with this, and for mainly practicing to build up your strength, stamina, endurance, stuff like that. But definitely don't only use one of these. You definitely want to be using it as well as or in sort of conjunction with Suburi with a shinai. So if you're in a place with the low ceiling and you want to use something to swing whilst you practice your footwork, for example, or whilst you're stood up, then another option is something like this. This is the furisen that we have on the KendoStar website. You can go and check it out on there. Obviously it looks a little bit like a shinai, except it's much fatter and much shorter. Okay, so basically you've got the same kind of handle, so you can practice the kamae properly. You've got the tsuru and the shikumi, so you can tell which side is the correct sort of top side and cutting side, so that you can consider your hasuji, which is of course good. It's quite heavy, okay? It weighs about 1,000 grams, okay, kilogram. So just a little bit less than 2 shinai put together. The advantage of this, of course, is that it is short, so you can swing it inside. You don't have to worry. Even I can put this down here, and I'm not going to hit the wall like I have been doing throughout this video. So it's good in that respect. The only thing I want to point out about something like this is I've often been quite skeptical of these sort of shorter Suburi aids. Okay, there's all sorts of ones out there on the market. I wouldn't put it on our website, on the KendoStar website, if I didn't think there was anything to be gained out of it. That's why you don't see these sticks that make funny noises when you swing them. We don't sell those because they're trash. Instead, this, like I say, with it being short, you don't have the same feedback that you get from a longer Shinai. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration whilst you're swinging it. What that means is basically, as you're stood in your kamae, as you swing the hoodie sen, you really have to concentrate on using your left hand. Okay, really have to make sure you're controlling it with your left hand. If you use your right hand, it's very easy to use your right hand with this because it's much heavier. Okay, and the weight's near to your right hand, so it's very easy to swing this with just your right hand. But you must concentrate on swinging with your left hand with this, okay? Because you don't have the length that you get with a normal Shinai. Okay, so it does feel a little bit different, but that extra weight, you have to kind of still try and send it as far as you would send the momentum from a longer Shinai. Okay, so you have to kind of imagine as if it was that sort of length, and you're sending the momentum over there. Okay, you still have to consider that. You can practice things like one-handed Suburi, but you have to be a bit careful because it's so much heavier. I don't want you to do any damage to your wrists, okay? So it might be better to stick to two-handed Suburi, totally fine. And of course, you can practice it with your footwork, as we did before. Totally the same things apply as to when we were doing the Suburi with the longer Shinai, okay? So just bear that in mind. It is a cool little gadget. It's useful for doing Suburi at home in a low ceiling. But like I say, you do just have to take extra care to make sure you're swinging it properly with the left hand, okay? So that you're still cutting in the same way that you would with a longer Shinai, okay? So bear that in mind if you do decide to pick one of these up. Okay, because it is a useful little thing, but yeah, you have to make sure you're using it right. Okay, so that just about does it for practicing Suburi at home. I do hope that you found this video useful. It's a little bit more informal than what I've normally done, but I thought it'd be nice. It's something that we've been asked about a lot. How should I practice Suburi at home? What can I do at home? And like I say, this is the KendoStar office. It isn't my actual home, but you get the idea. It's not a dojo. It's not sort of ideal practice environment. But still, you can make the most of it. Okay, so do bear those things in mind. I do hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever you feel like. You know what to do. Share on the social media, all that stuff. You know what you're doing. And yeah, just before I go, don't forget to shop at KendoStar. It is KendoStar that keeps me in business of making these videos. Okay, so it is KendoStar that supports these videos. So if you do like them, do make sure that you're shopping at KendoStar so that we can keep bringing them to you. Of course, that's only one reason to shop at KendoStar. There's hundreds of others, including the fact that it's fantastic equipment, you get brilliant service, it's all overlooked by me, all the products on there, as I said earlier in the video, there's nothing on there that I wouldn't consider using myself. We don't just throw stuff on there just to try and make a quick buck. Everything on there is particularly curated or designed specifically for the international market. Okay, so with that being said, we're looking forward to seeing you in the next video, and yeah, leave us a comment, let us know what you'd like to see next time.